Hey, it's the What If Podcast. Time to grip it and rip it, bud.
That was fucked.
That was a bit fucked.
Here we are. We did it. Hi. Hello. No music. Fuck it.
Da-dum, da-da-da-dum, da-da-da-dum.
Aliens, right from the top.
Da-dum, da-da-da-da-dum, da-dum-dum. Da-da-da-dum, da-dum, da-dum. Hey, what is that song? What am I doodling right now?
Did a doodling? I don't know what you did a doodling.
Diggity doodling. It's good.
Is it the Entertainer? Is that what you were
That
going
is
for?
The Entertainer. Yeah, I think so.
Nice.
I was actually, in my mind, I was thinking like Send in the Clowns because everything's such a fucking gong show right now. But that's not what I actually did.
Well,
I did something.
it's very on brand then.
I did something carnival adjacent. How about that?
Yeah. Here we are. I think we're maybe fucking recording. I don't even know.
You know who else is carnival adjacent? Us. We are.
This fucking clown show right here.
Clown show and gong show all at once.
Yeah. Just clowns beating gongs and clongs beating gowns.
Hi, guys and gals and non-binary friends. It's the What If Podcast. That's Spencer. I'm Ryan, and we're surviving just like the rest of you in varying degrees of success on a day-to-day basis.
That was fucked.
That was a bit fucked.
We're going to say that about 2020. That's just going to be the whole 2020. That was a bit fucked, wasn't it?
Well, that depends. Can you go fuck yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Hey, you having a good time so far this year?
Well, that depends. Can you go fuck yourself?
Perfect. So real. So real.
Ryan, would you like to
Spencer.
talk about what brings you joy before we talk about aliens?
I think we have to. I think we've made a commitment. Everybody's going to therapy 2020. We're gonna lead with love and lead with joy. And that's that, you know?
Another day, another beer.
I'd gripped it and ripped it already, bud. We're getting things rolling. You know?
What you got this week?
I have two things.
Hell yes.
Number one, it is 70 degrees and sunny outside of Minneapolis right now.
Crazy.
Wildness. Thought it would never come. Turns out it did. And it's here. And it's blue skies.
Boop.
And
Here.
boop here. And I feel like it's like a gift from the universe that's like, hey, guys, I know it's been kind of dog shit. Have a nice day with like birds chirping. And that's, you know what? That's okay. We're gonna take that.
Maybe we should both record with our windows open just to get the proper ambiance.
Say the word. I'm fucking down, man. I'll open it right now.
All right.
It's
All right, go for
it's
it.
within arm's reach of me.
I gotta stand up to get to mine, but let's do it.
Maybe we should record standing up.
Well, I gotta walk across the room though. Hold on.
I'm not gonna leave my microphone while Spencer's that far away because I don't
I'm
want.
back.
Okay,
I'm back.
that
I'm
was
back.
wow. That was
We're safe.
across the room. Jesus, that was fast.
Well, I mean, you've been in this room. It's not big.
Go gadget arm.
I just had to stand up. Is really all that happened.
I still think we need to try A, recording a whole episode standing up and seeing how it goes, and B, recording a whole episode without pants on and seeing how it goes.
I'll stand up and take my pants off right now if you want.
Okay, but we just made a really bad choice, which was we just opened up our windows. So if we stand up and pull our pants down, this
true.
is going to get very dicey very quickly.
I am directly in front of the window that faces my neighbor's house.
Your
So
neighbor's going to
maybe-
be like, Spencer, are you okay?
Absolutely not.
Nothing's okay. Nothing. It's like, oh, God.
Right. Okay, so
Put the blinds down.
You had two things.
Yeah.
One was that it's lovely out. What was the second?
My sister brought over cake.
Nice.
Yeah, bro.
Cake is delicious.
My sister's just like the best person in general. Like she's like a very good person in a way that like, I'm like, oh, if more people were like my sister, that would be pretty sick because she's just like good. And she's an incredible baker. We've been like hounding her to open a bakery for years because she's so good at it. And yesterday, I think she made cake and then just like distributed cake to a handful of friends in a like safe, no contact quarantine drop off fashion. And you know what? God bless the small joys these days and people like my fucking sister. So anyway, I've got cake and sunshine, and that's like, you know what? Today, that is a lot.
That'll work.
A lot.
That'll work.
That will do for today.
Hell yeah. Can't be mad when you have cake.
Can't be mad when you have cake and sunshine. Okay, now I'm going to scoot to my window, and you tell me about your joy.
What's been doing it for me lately is, so I finally finished, I shouldn't say finally. I actually very quickly finished the entirety of the Trailer Park Boys television series.
By finally, you mean in the last calendar 10 days.
Like 6 weeks total for 12 seasons. Yeah.
Pretty good.
I was
pretty
watching
good.
two seasons a week for a minute there. And the first Trailer Park Boys movie. But I discovered as I was on the hunt for more TPB content, I found that they have a podcast, and I started listening to it, and it is amazing.
Oh,
I believe it's called. Have you gotten into this ever? I think it's called Trailer Park After Dark or something like that. Park After Dark, something like that.
Is this
you
the
search
one?
Trailer Park Boys on the? Huh?
Is this the one that they tour, or is that just like a different show?
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
that I don't know. I'm not familiar with their. Well, yes, but I don't know anything about their live tour situation.
Sure. I love how this is just like
It's great though
quickly
because
becoming.
they're obviously
Oh, go
they're in
ahead.
character.
Oh, sure.
They're in character, but they're doing like current event type shit. So like right now they're all separately quarantined, but in character. So like Julian is living. He moved into somebody's house who got stuck overseas, and Ricky thought that it meant you were just supposed to get as far away as possible from people. So he just drove into the woods, and he's living in his car, like way out in the middle of nowhere.
It's great. It's a good bit. Yeah, I'm sure it works.
Yeah, it very much works. Yeah, I don't know about their tour. I guess if you go to rickyjulianbubbles.com, there's something called a Sunnyvale Christmas featuring Ricky, Julian, Bubbles, and Randy that they were touring.
Cool. Into it. Would watch.
They're dressed as the three wise men, and Randy is baby Jesus.
Fabulous. Bo Bandy. You know, I love that this show is just quickly becoming a fan cast of all our favorite things. Aliens, Trailer
Yeah,
Park
whatever.
Boys, music.
Alien fan cast. I love it. Yeah, it's called
Harry Potter.
Called Park After Dark.
Cool. I dig.
They do it as a like a web. It's on YouTube, but they then also make a podcast of it. So if you listen to the podcast version, there are lots of references to things that you can't see, but that kind of makes it more fun, honestly.
That's part of the bit. It's part of the bit.
Mm-hmm. So
Fabulous.
that's been doing it for me.
Well, good, man. Hey, look, we all need good media to indulge in that takes our mind off of the bad media. Hey,
Yeah,
can you, speaking of good media, can you hear my birds?
No.
Oh, damn.
But I'm listening to the
they're cheaping.
shitty internet audio, so maybe it's getting picked up real nicely on your end. I'll edit in a really nice bird bed for us.
Edit like a Disney-esque like songbird, like
Oh yeah.
tweet,
Yeah,
tweet,
yeah.
tweet, 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 tweet.
Oh, well, we don't need it now. You just did it.
Nailed it.
I just I picked up a binaural mic that is on its way to my house. So y'all are gonna start getting some really fucked up recordings soon on the podcast.
Explain that for the average Joe. For
okay, so
someone
it's-
not like me, but someone else who might not know what that is.
So it's a stereo microphone that replicates the way that our ears hear sound directionally. So if
As
you
in like
listen to-
left and right.
yes, but also like 360 degrees and up and down and stuff.
Ooh.
So the way that it's usually done is either by you wear really tiny microphones actually in your ear, like earbuds, because the shape of our ears has a lot to do with how we interpret the direction and distance of sound. Or people make ones where they mount little tiny microphone capsules inside like fake silicone ears that are about a head widths apart, and you can carry around a little fake head and record audio.
What do the Greys do?
Huh?
They don't got no stinking ears, bud.
Well, they hear differently then.
Do they hear with their big heads? Is it just
They
like
hear-
a reverberating drum?
They hear like how birds hear. I don't know. There are lots of animals that don't have like external ear flaps.
Oh boy.
Gators.
Just went down a mental rabbit hole, dude. I'm never going to recover from this. How the fuck do snakes hear?
Yeah, I was gonna say snakes don't have ears.
Oh, God.
They'd be fucked if they did.
Oh, God.
Can you imagine if you saw a snake with ears one day?
That'd
Or
be
a lizard? A lizard with like big dog ears?
I was thinking
like
more just like a
tiny-
snake with human ears.
I was thinking of an iguana with like proportional German Shepherd ears.
Oh, like perky ones. See, I was thinking like iguana with like Dumbo ears, like just big floppy guys.
Sure, that too. Or an elephant without ears. That would be equally fucked.
Ew, I hate it. I'm disconcerted.
So anyway, people use them a lot for like ASMR shit because it can sound like somebody is right up next to you or on one side of you, or some sounds are right on top of you, but also for like immersive media and VR and shit.
That ASMR shit is just a whole weird world, man.
Yeah, I'm not super into it, but it's really fun for like field recording stuff and like spatial audio.
So is that what you're going to do with your new binaural mic? You can give people like some field trip audio from weird places, or like what's your
No, I'm
what's
just
your
gonna
game?
use it to record my voice on the podcast now and freak people out by like running laps around their heads while we record.
Oh my God, I hate it.
I'm just gonna set it in front of me and like spin it while I speak into it, so it sounds like
wah,
you're
wah,
twirling.
wah, wah. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
All right. Well, on my end of audio, where things will be very standard and normal, I apologize to all of you on behalf of what Spencer is going to put in your earballs.
Hey, look, man. As a guy who can no longer like go out into the world and make music or even like go to the studio, I'm getting a little bored over here.
You're in the studio, bruv.
I'm in my studio, yeah, which is like a smaller version of a studio.
Let's make more Robot Grandma songs, bruv.
We could do that. So far, I've just been trying to figure out the ideal signal chain for for Zoom calls.
You just trying to sound like a professional radio level DJ calling into everybody's Zoom meetings?
Right. I got like a $5,000 signal chain going into the Zoom call.
And everyone's like, damn, he sounds pro as shit. We should do everything he says.
I'm saying Zoom takes two channels. I could hook up that binaural mic and be like, Steve.
Oh my,
Steve,
oh
listen
my,
right
oh
now.
my God. And you'd be in both of Steve's ears and he'd be like, ah, Spencer's in my brain.
Exactly. Anyway, you want to talk about aliens?
Every ding dang day I do.
Ryan, we have your favorite kind of alien today, and that is a British alien.
Yes, bruv. Mm-hmm. Oi, bruv.
We're in West Yorkshire, England, which is about 20 miles northwest of Leeds.
Okay.
And we're in 1987.
It was a very special year.
Is that the year of your birth?
Fuck yeah, dog.
Your February 20...
Hell yeah.
Fuck. 4?
Close.
Seven?
Close. 7.
There it is.
7. Isn't your birthday coming up?
It's in May, yeah.
Yeah, you get like in a month or 6 weeks.
17th, yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Hey, look, we really are friends. We kind of like roughly know each other's birthdays,
after a decade, we know our birthdays on the second guess.
which is like I feel like for dude friends, that's significantly more common.
Somebody asked me for our friend Eric's phone number today, and I
Sure.
realized as I was replying that is one of maybe 5 phone numbers that I still have memorized. And I didn't realize it until I was like, I just went to type it out instead of going to find his contact. I was like, oh, I know 6 phone numbers apparently.
I know 2 phone numbers. I know the podcast voicemail phone number,
I
612
still don't know that one.
612-246-4614 if y'all want to leave us a voicemail at some point. We haven't
I've
played
heard it.
voicemails in a while. We need to do that big time.
I've heard it at least 1,000 times, and I still don't have it memorized.
Dude, maybe, you know what we should do? Let's do this in the next like 7 to 10 days. Let's just record an episode that's an all voicemails episode that is not the regular free show. and we'll just put it out on like
a little bonus guy.
Put out a random like bonus Friday show, and we'll catch up on the backlog of like hundreds of voicemails we have from people.
Bet.
I like it.
Anyway, December 1st of 1987, we're in West Yorkshire, Leeds, northwest of Leeds, and we are specifically in Ilkley Moor, which is
adorable. Adorable is what it is. It's adorable.
I had to, because I'm not a smart man, I had to Google what a moor was.
Okay.
But for anyone like me who doesn't know, it's like a big flat area.
It's like like the plains, right? Like the moors are like the plains, like hilly plains, kind of.
Yeah, hilly plains is a pretty good description.
Sick. Nailed
this
it.
One
English
this one
major for the win.
This one specifically is fun because it has the second highest concentration of ancient carved stones in all of Europe.
Whoa, second highest concentration of ancient carved stones.
Yeah, so it's a big field with ancient rocks that people carved shit in.
How come there?
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of that in like in the northern England area.
You know, Stonehenge and shit.
Yeah, well, so there's also a stone circle in Ilkley Moor.
Yes.
That's it's a little guy known as the 12 Apostles.
Okay. I'm assuming there's 12 stones.
There are.
And Jesus is in the middle of them?
No. Well, I mean, not now. Maybe he was at some point. I don't know.
It's Jesus's house. That's where you look. I know some of you have been looking. That's where you find them.
It's 12 stones in a circle that's about 40 to 50 feet across.
Okay. Well, it's not too small.
No, the stones are just small. They're only like a couple feet high.
They're not the size of small trucks.
No. So anyway, there's this guy, Phillip Spencer, who lives near Ilkley Moor, and he moved there to West Yorkshire after leaving the police force, I believe. Well, I don't know, in some larger nearby city, possibly Leeds.
Okay.
Because his wife's family lived near there.
Okay.
And on the night of December 1st, he's walking across the moor from his village to his father-in-law's village, which if you cut across this moor is like a 30-minute walk.
Okay.
And he had a camera with him and a compass. The camera because apparently there are some weird light phenomena that happen in the moor. I think as a combination of like, there are some low areas where fog happens, and then there are hills and light gets refracted in weird ways, I think is what happens.
What you meant to say was because of all of the fairies that live there.
Well, also fairies and UFOs and such, yeah.
Yeah.
Spirit beings of all kinds.
Yes. Thank you. Perfect.
And the compass because it's just a giant field that he's walking across for half an hour and you want to make sure you don't get lost.
Smart guy.
Yeah. So he's taking photos and he notices of what this part's a little confusing to me. He's taking photos of like the sun rising or what he thought was the sun rising, but it was night.
Okay.
So I'm not really sure what's going on there. And as he's taking photos, he notices something about 150 feet away from him moving. And he turns to look at it and he sees a small kind of greenish, grayish figure about 4 feet tall.
Uh-oh.
And at first he thought it was a kid or like a kid wearing some sort of costume. And as he's looking at it, he realizes it's not. And it's actually a creature with like a big head and big black almond-shaped eyes. So sort of the typical description of a gray alien, except this one had a greenish hue to it.
Do we know at this point how far away he was from this thing?
When he first saw it, he estimated it was about 150 feet away.
Oh, that's like kind of a decent distance.
Yeah, I mean, you would be able to definitely like make out a person or animal or thing from that distance.
Yeah, but it's not like we're not talking like it's not 20 feet. Like it's still a little bit of a
150
way.
is not 20. That's true.
I mean, it's not like in your yard close.
Well, it depends on how big your yard is, but sure.
Okay, damn it. Whatever.
I guess I'm not sure what you're trying to say. It
I'm
was
saying-
about 150 feet away.
I'm saying if it was in your yard, in a city yard in Minneapolis, you would have a much more like crystal picture of the size, shape, distance, light, eyeballs than 150 feet. Like, yeah, you'd be able to make something out, but that's not like a distance at which you can see like a much detail about a thing.
It is easier to see details on things that are close than far away. That is
I'm
true.
saying it was far away.
But not that far.
Get the fuck out of my face. Get out of my face with this.
Anyway, he sees this thing and it sees Phil and it puts up a hand. Which Phil interprets as like stop or stay there.
Why didn't he interpret it as a wave? Hello.
No. Well, it's a good question. So he stays where he is for a second, and the alien turns. Well, now he's assuming it's an alien. Turns to walk away from him, and he takes a photo, and then tries to follow this thing as it's going up a hill away from him.
Is that your?
He doesn't catch up to it, huh?
Sorry. Go ahead. Keep going. Keep going.
Okay,
I'll
I'm almost
jump in
at
a
the
second.
end of like this section of the story. Yeah. So he follows this thing as it goes up a hill. He doesn't catch up to it, but he sees when he gets to the top of the hill a saucer-shaped craft take off rapidly and straight up. He looks around and doesn't see any like residual evidence of either the craft or the alien, and continues on to his father-in-law's place. But when he arrives, he realized that the walk that should have taken him about an hour or less than an hour had taken closer to 3 hours.
Some missing time, bruv.
Uh-huh. What were you gonna interject there a moment ago?
I was going to ask a question about what your take would be, but I know what your take would be. Of course, you would follow the alien, but I don't feel like most people would be like, sick. That thing held up a hand. I interpret that as it telling me to stop. And so I'm going to totally not do that and go chase this alien over a hill. That's just not, I wouldn't do it. It's not my thing.
What if you gotta snap a pic though?
But hey, you know what? I'm gonna bet you all the money in my bank account right now that he didn't get a pick.
Oh, he did though.
Oh, let's go. Let's go. Let me see it.
All right, hold on. I'll shoot you a link real quick.
Link me, bruv.
If you just it's coming. There are Jesus. You know, you want to know, just for the sake of transparency and honesty here, what I just tried to send you?
Yes.
So I have in my notes the word photo, and it's a link to photo, the couple different versions of this photo that Phillip Spencer took.
Amazing.
Instead of copying the link and putting it into our text thread, I copied the word photo
Awesome.
and pasted it into our text thread.
So
I am smart.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank
Photo. Hello, please have photo.
You almost just got the word photo in all caps texted to you.
I would have been like, fuck you. Hey, you want to see the photo? Photo. Just
in all
fucking with
caps.
me.
All right, so you can look at this photo with me, and I'll try and describe it. It's very grainy.
It looks like it was shot on a Nokia brick phone.
Well, in his defense, it was shot at night on film.
From 150 feet away, which is a long
Correct.
distance.
Which, as we learned, is not a distance from which it's easy to see details.
Yes. Nailed it.
Had he been perhaps 20 feet away, we would have seen more details.
There would have been more alien here.
Yes, exactly. As it is, there's sort of like a rough humanoid shape in that there are two vertical lines connecting to a sort of solid mass in the middle, and then two more kind of arm-looking lines coming off of that mass in the middle.
The arms themselves also appear to be like the length of its whole body, like the legs.
Yeah.
Unless it's like supposed to be standing in maybe some tall grass. Like if that stuff around the bottom is tall grass, then maybe the hands, and they're still very long arms, but maybe it's like touching the top of the grass.
Yeah, it looks like one arm is the one that we can make out more clearly, is like his hand would be touching the ground.
Right, unless that was grass.
But this is all, yeah. Anyway, there, and then on top of that sort of main mass, there's a roundish mass on top. So it looks vaguely like a short person with long arms and a big head.
Yeah,
But there are no real details.
You
People
can-
have tried.
you can kind of see like two darker marks where I would get the like gray alien eyeball thing.
Yeah, there are two like large dark areas on the what would be the head or like face area.
Yeah. And they do appear to have that kind of like angled towards a center nose vibe to them.
Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean
hard
it's
to say.
very grainy for sure, but I'm all zoomed in here trying to kind of get the
Yeah.
rough shapes.
He got this film developed the next day and found the photo that we were just discussing. He contacted a UFO investigator, reporter named Peter Howe, and he interviewed Phillip Spencer and reviewed the photo, and also asked a wildlife expert familiar with that area to take a look at the photo to see if this could be anything that lives there.
That's I mean, like, look, I'm not an expert in, well, probably anything, but
Hey,
I
you
would
normally got aliens here?
yeah, right. Like, I would not look at that and be like, oh, that's probably just an animal I've never heard of. Like, that is not what that photo. Yeah. Like, that photo is not like, oh, it was just a bird that looks like that. Like, that's not.
Well, I don't know. I mean, Mothman was maybe that crane, or maybe they got like giant owls that Phil didn't know about.
I mean, but Mothman at least has wings. Like, this motherfucker doesn't have wings. I'm not mistaking him for
Or
a
maybe
bird.
like, oh yeah, we got wild chimps here. Don't worry about it.
That would be wild green chimps
Who fly spaceships?
who fly spaceships. Extremely important detail. Not contained in the
Yeah.
photo, but extremely important detail.
They do have spaceships. So, of course, he did not determine that it was likely to be any local wildlife. They sent the negative to a Kodak lab who confirmed that the negative had not been altered as far as
That's
they
cool.
could tell. And then they also had an optical physicist named Dr. Bruce Maccabee, who also has some strong UFO leanings and has written a lot about UFOs. They had him take a look at the photo, but he basically said it was too grainy to really make any conclusions from.
Yeah.
Which, again, sucks and raises some suspicion, but also makes sense for a 35 millimeter camera taking a photo of something at night and then blowing that up several times.
Right.
Like,
right.
it would be very grainy and it would be really hard to make out any meaningful detail.
Right. Right.
The Peter Howe, the guy who was investigating this originally, also had the area checked, the area where this sighting allegedly happened, checked for radiation, but they didn't find any. The only, I guess, physical quote-unquote evidence or, I don't know, evidence of any kind other than the photo is that Phillip Spencer's compass had been flipped so that it pointed south rather than north.
Ooh.
Which would indicate that it had been near some strong magnetic field, but that obviously does not necessarily mean a spaceship.
Interesting.
Man, I can't tell how sarcastic you're being.
Well, like 50-50, which is why it was 50-50. Like, interesting in that, like, that would be a hard thing. Well, I guess it depends when they found it and if it was actually useful in advance. But I don't know.
I don't think it would be hard to hoax, though. You just need a magnet, right?
Yeah, I guess that's what I was just thinking. I was like, I meant more like, oh, if he went in the next day and or if, his dad could, like confirm that he, showed it to him as soon as he got to the house and it was not working or flipped or whatever. I don't know if there was a way to like.
But you'd also have to verify that it wasn't before he left.
Right, that he had already fucked it up.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's one of those like that's interesting. It's more than nothing, but it's not necessarily anything, and hard to prove that it's tied to anything.
It's one of those things that happens all the time with these of like it's interesting if you believe him. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like on its own, it doesn't prove anything, but with the testimony, it's interesting. It's a
totally.
I don't know.
It
still comes down to him telling the truth or not.
Right. I feel like the craft was not suspiciously, but like sort of like quickly described. I mean, I guess he did say it went up and away quickly, but like, was there any more detail about the up and away or the craft itself? Like saucer shaped, but
so
like
here's the
other...
thing. We have a lot more detail about all of this, but it came under hypnotic regression.
Phillip.
So
Phillip.
we should probably hit that part.
Oh boy.
He started in the next few weeks having weird dreams and became increasingly concerned about the fact that he lost upwards of 2 hours of time.
I mean, that's fair. I guess that's pretty fair.
And he decided on March 16th of 88, so that's about 10 weeks later, that he was going to undergo hypnotic regression with Dr. Jim Singleton. This was on March 16th of 88. I have the whole well, maybe not the whole transcript. I have a big chunk of the transcript of that hypnosis session.
Okay.
That I don't think I'll read verbatim, but I'll hit some of the highlights of.
Just sorry, really quickly to interrupt. Why do we have the full transcript of the hypnotic regression? Did he himself like put that out there, or?
So again, this one is hard to find like credible sources because it really all just comes down to one person's story that can't be independently verified.
Sure.
I'm pulling a lot of this stuff from the UFO casebook, which has a pretty lengthy entry on it. And then there is a YouTube channel that's pretty strong called Bedtime Stories that did a like 20-minute video summary of this whole ordeal.
Bedtime Stories sounds spooky.
It is. I think they also pulled a lot of the information from that UFO casebook entry.
Got it.
So this transcript is included in the UFO casebook. So, which was written by BJ Booth. I don't have a ton of information about how or why this became public, other than according to this same article, Spencer turned over or signed over all copyright privileges or any ownership of his story and the supporting evidence to Peter Hugh, that investigator, in 88. So
Did he do it under hypnotic regression?
I don't know. Also, I think, or I've read in some places that Phillip Spencer is a pseudonym. But whoever this person is has never like publicly spoken about this story or wanted attention from it. But again, I don't know if that makes it more or less suspicious.
Right.
Anyway, so according to this transcript from the UFO casebook, Dr. Singleton has him just sort of walk through what happened to him on the night of December 1st. And he says he's walking through the moor. It's cloudy and windy, and he sees, quote, this little something. I can't tell, but he's green, and he's moving towards me. And then he says, oh, I'm stuck. I can't move, and the creature is still coming towards me. I'm stuck, and everything's gone fuzzy. Then I'm floating along in the air, and I want to get down. And then parentheses, it says, he later told us that he was levitated 2 feet off the ground, and the creature was in front of him like a child pulling a balloon on a string.
Oh, dang.
It's like
Yo,
that one,
you got made a balloon, bro. You got ballooned, bro.
It's like that one Harry Potter spell that Snape made up.
A levitation one or a ballooning one?
No, like the one where you can levitate people. The Death Eaters do it at the beginning of book 4, where they're at the World Quidditch Cup.
Who are they levitating? I don't remember that.
Random muggles, because they're evil.
Just to fuck with them. I mean, yeah, it's a good way to fuck with someone, alien to human or otherwise, to just be like, now you can't walk. What are you going to do?
He's been ballooned, and he says, I still can't get down. I don't like it. I'm going around a corner, and this green thing is in front of me. Then there's a big silver saucer thing with a door in the side of it, and I don't want to go in there. Then everything goes black. I can't see anything. It's like I'm asleep. I can't hear anything. And then there's suddenly a bright light. He's in some sort of exam room. He hears a voice in his head telling him not to be afraid, and he doesn't feel afraid anymore. He can still see this little green guy, but now he's not scared of him. And they put him up on this exam table where there's, quote, a beam like a pole. It's above me, moving up toward me. It's got a light in it like a fluorescent tube coming up from my feet. It makes me feel warm as it moves up me, and it's coming over my stomach towards my head. So they're doing some sort of weird body scan thing to him. Next thing he knows, he's standing up, and there's a green guy motioning for him to come out in the hallway with him.
What?
And
I don't understand this whole, they turned me into a balloon and, floated me into a place, and now they're like, come on, man, follow me, walk this way. What? Why are we resorting to such rudimentary technologies?
Right. Well, and I mean, the aliens also have legs. They should be familiar with this process, right?
I mean, yes, unless their legs are those alien legs where they're like, we have legs to show you that we're like you. We're just bad at being like you.
But we also know magic, so fuck it.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so he's walking down this hallway towards a door, and he sees a window, and from out... I'm just going to read what he says. He says, oh, God, is that real? I don't want to be up here. I want to be down there. So he, I'm assuming looked out a window and realized that he was in space or way up in the air.
V high, bro. V high.
The voice in his head tells him not to be scared again. And then he's at the end of some hallway, and he's in a big round room on a raised platform. And he says, my camera and compass are trying to get away from me, going towards the ball.
Duh.
It's difficult to pull them back down again. So there's like some weird gravity ball in the middle of a room.
Okay.
He talks about how the aliens have very big hands and sausage fingers. They're walking down a hallway again, and there's a picture on the wall. It's a moving picture. Again, these are just Harry Potter aliens. And they show him like a video basically on this picture on the wall. And the video is basically showing how we're fucking up Earth and we're all going to die and we're fucked.
The environmentalist aliens, man.
Yeah. He says there was lots of scenes of destruction like on the news, lots of waste going into the river and people who are starving. It's not good. It's not nice. And then Dr. Singleton says, what about the other film? Do you want to tell me about it? And Phil says, I'm not supposed to.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm not supposed to tell anyone about the other film. It's not for them to know. And then he ends the session.
Damn.
So we've got Sausage Fingers McFloaty guys showing him that the world's going to end, and then some other second mysterious film that we don't know about.
Well, that seems like slightly like he's defeating the purpose of going to explore that stuff if he's like part of this you can't know, right? I mean, I don't know. Like,
well, I don't think he's saying that that Phil doesn't know. I think it's that Phil isn't supposed to tell other people what he saw.
Right. I guess I just mean like seems relevant to being able to figure this whole thing out, but
Right. But we don't know what it is. You know, it's like that one Rick and Morty episode where the alien has "Don't help him develop an app" tattooed on his forehead.
And then yeah, totally.
You know, maybe it's that situation.
Sure. And he just keeps going.
So then the next thing he knows, he's back in the field, and he then, under hypnosis, realizes when he saw the alien, followed it, and took the picture, that was when they had already dropped him back off in the field, and they were going back to their ship and leaving.
Oh, so he really was waving goodbye.
Correct.
It was not a stop motion. It was like a "see you later, Phil. Thanks for the body scans, you friggin' weird balloon human."
Or it was like, no, Phil, we already did this. You got to stay here this time.
Hey, cool spaceship. Can I come? Shut up, Phil. You've seen the spaceship, Phil. What is going on here? Phil, you already had your abduction for the day, okay? Can you just take a breath?
So that explains, in the theory, the him showing up a couple hours late to his father-in-law's house.
Did we get a vibe of like, would it have even been possible for someone else to have seen this happen?
It doesn't seem like it. I mean, he's walking across an empty field in the middle of the night, and it's I shouldn't say field. It's much larger than that. Like, from one side of this moor to the other is several miles. So
sure.
I don't know. And it's like, it's not, people don't live there. People live around it, but he's walking across the uninhabited part.
Yeah, but I mean, even if you're walking at a pretty good clip, you know, you're talking at a maximum like 2 to 3 miles from his house to his dad's house. I mean, I guess we don't know what else is around it, but you know.
Let me see. It says in one of these articles the two like actual villages that he was walking between.
Got it. Gonna Google Earth them. Not gonna lie.
Let's see.
Gonna see.
If you go to Google Maps and just Google, what is it? West Yorkshire. That'll get you pretty close. You'll see the big moor. Let's see if I can quickly measure like the diameter of it. So it's, I guess that takes you specifically to Leeds. Let's see. It's the Ilkley Moor.
Ilkley Moor. You know, this would be I'm going to have to do this later. Not now. But I know there's a bunch of those websites where it's like crazy stuff you can do on Google Maps, and that seems like a very good quarantine activity.
Oh, absolutely.
Crazy things I can do on Google Maps sounds great.
So I think he was going between Ilkley and Keighley, Keighley, which looks to be, hold on, not driving. Let's walk across the middle. That can't be right. That's 10 miles.
That is not a 30-minute walk to your dad's
No.
house. No wonder he showed up 2 hours late. He's like,
That
I'll
would
be there in
explain why it
30
took him
minutes,
3
Dad.
hours.
yeah.
Yeah, that's about like exactly a three-hour walk. Maybe we just solved this.
This entire thing is just he's bad at estimating how long it takes to walk places. It must have been aliens because it took me 3 hours to walk. Yeah, 10 miles? You don't say.
Maybe I have the towns wrong, but I mean, none of them are. From one side of the moor to the other is like a minimum 7 to 8 miles. And that's the short direction. If you're going the long direction, it's twice that.
So we did solve it. This guy is a bad estimator, and
Done.
and he took a photo. Maybe that was it. He was like, "Yo, Dad's gonna get pissed because I've been bad at estimating things my whole life. So I'm gonna prop up some like bushes and shit over here, take a photo, and then I'm gonna have a really good excuse when I get there. Like, Dad, you're never gonna believe it, or like." Dad, bruv. Oi.
Is that what they call dads? Oh, you're not getting birds from my house. You're just getting motorcycles.
I did get a motorcycle. Yeah, that's good. Oi, Dad, bruv. I found me a eco alien kin.
Nailed it.
That's
the
how
only
it works.
other
That's how it works.
noteworthy anything about this one is that UFO investigator guy somehow, this says climatic information, as in climate related information gathered about the conditions of December 1st made it almost impossible for Spencer to have taken his picture at the time he stated. However, if the regressive memories are accurate, the conditions would be right to duplicate the lighting taken about an hour later. So he's saying, the lighting, I don't know how you determine that between 10 p.m. and 11 p.m., though. It should be fairly similar, I would think.
Yeah.
But this guy is saying that the lighting matches 11 p.m. better than 10. But that
seems
rather nonsensical to me.
Well, and it also just seems too like minute to really be able to like. I mean that that would change based on exposure.
I don't know how you're getting any.
Yeah, right.
Like, how are you getting any of that information from this grainy ass 3-pixel having ass scan of a photo? I guess he had the negative. Maybe there's a little better,
but still, even with the negative, like depending on what camera you used and what lens you used and the exposure, like you're not gonna be able to tell what time a photo was taken based on the light.
Not at night, I wouldn't think.
No. And even during the day, you could do a lot of things to your exposure to make it not.
Well, you could get like angle of shadows during the day, but I don't know what you're doing at night.
Yeah, there's certainly no shadows here.
Right. So I don't know. That seems like a convenient conclusion to arrive at.
Yeah.
I'm going to send you, just before we wrap this up, I'm going to send you one more picture. I actually copied the photo this time, not just the word photo.
Fuck you, Ryan. Here, have your fucking photo, you filthy peasant.
So the one I sent you earlier was zoomed in and cropped. This is the full frame. Unfortunately, not at a high resolution at all, but it's a scan of the full negative.
Oh, interesting.
And I don't know if it's more or less convincing, honestly. It's different.
It is different. I feel like I appreciate it because I at least have more context. So in this thing, I'll describe it quick for those of you listening to the audio of this, which is all of you. There's more of like a ridge line that you can see from the full version of this. It kind of cuts from like the top left corner across to the right side of the page and then, or excuse me, to the screen. And you can see it almost feels like it kind of zigzags from the top to the right and then back left and then back right again. And this creature appears to be standing on what I would sort of consider what appears to be like a path almost.
Yeah, it looks like there's just a worn footpath between two hills, probably.
Something like that. Like it's dirt. It's dirt.
Or maybe it's just like a runoff area or something.
Yeah.
But it does give you a little better idea of the scale of this thing.
I don't understand the lighting of this though, because this looks like it was taken at like 4 p.m.
Right. Maybe I'm getting bad information about what time of day this happened, because it would make more sense that this happened during the day.
Yeah.
And that would make more, both from the photo and then that information about the hour later based on. Yeah. Okay, so I'm finding another version of this story that says this happened like very early in the morning near sunrise.
Interesting. So
Which would also make more sense for him going out at that time to take photos if you're getting like cool photos of the sunrise over the hills through fog and shit. So maybe I was just wrong about it being 10 o'clock at night. Or rather, wherever I read that was wrong.
Got it.
Because I'm rereading this casebook article now, and it says in the early morning of December 1st, 1987.
Okay, well, that makes more sense, and that actually makes more sense with the photo, and I actually feel like the photo is more trustworthy looking at that version. Like, I don't know, I feel like you can disguise a lot of things at night that you kind of can't during the day, and there's like there's very much an odd-shaped something there that is not part of the landscape, is not human, and is certainly not animal, which in its own right is interesting.
I'm not sure it's not a plant of some kind, though.
Plant of some kind?
Yeah, like, is that not maybe some sort of weird shrubbery?
I mean, there's literally nothing like it in the entirety of the frame, which appears to cover like hundreds of feet. It's in the middle of a walking path, or what appears to be a walking path that goes up that ridge. So it wouldn't be like it growing in that path. I mean, I don't know.
That's a good point.
It
is still hard to tell the size and scale of these things, though, because there's nothing on the hills in terms of vegetation or anything that would give us much insight into like how big those hills are, and therefore roughly how big this object would be.
Right.
I don't know.
I will say, particularly with this, and we'll link to some of these photos in the description, but like, this is probably one of the better photos I've ever seen, even though it's bad.
It is a weird photo for sure.
It's a weird photo, and it's actually a photo. I feel like 9 out of 10 times we get these type of stories, it's somebody who's like, yeah, I had this experience and I went through hypnotic regression and here's what happened, and you're like, yeah, okay, and like this at least is like something, beyond that base level.
It's not much, but it is something.
Right. Which, I mean, to be honest, like in these types of situations, I give those types of stories significantly more credence to be like, well, you're doing
by our extremely low standards.
You're doing more than most in our extremely low standards, so that's good.
Yeah, you got some airplane ambiance in addition to the lovely motorcycle from earlier. So you're welcome.
It's a nice reminder that while things are a bit fucked, the world still turns. Yeah,
that was the first time I've like really noticed hearing an airplane in quite a while, and we live very close to the airport.
Well, maybe that's a nice thing because it just means your windows are open on a beautiful day.
Nailed it.
You know what I mean?
Yada mean.
All
right, dude. I think that's it on that one. We solved it.
We solved
He
it.
got lost.
He got lost.
He's bad at estimating distance and walking speed.
Bad at estimating, and he propped up some like random driftwood and rocks to make an alien-looking thing. So he had an excuse for his angry dad.
He paid a neighborhood kid $10 to go stand on the path and look creepy.
Put on. Hey kid, put on my shirt. It's long. It's long. Got long arms because you're little. Nailed it.
Perfect.
Nailed it.
All right, dude. Anything you'd like to leave the folks with?
Hey, we hope you're staying safe and staying sane and staying indoors. And we appreciate y'all listening. We love you guys. If you want to send us an email, it's hi@whatifpodcast.com. Voicemails are 612-246-4614. No date or timeline on it, but we're going to do that. We're going to do a little bonus episode at some point over the next couple weeks here.
Sure.
And we'll just do some voicemails, and we'll have an all voicemail episode. So if you want to maybe get in on the all voicemail episode, go ahead and give us a call, 612-246-4614. Otherwise, we'll go through the backlog. We've got hella messages we haven't gotten to. We apologize, but hey, you know what? The world's been fucky.
Thank you very much for the participation.
Yes. We got new t-shirts in the store. If you go to shop.whatifpodcast.com, you can get the ultimate wisdom from Schoolboy Q.
Shut up and look ugly for the homies.
Shut up and look ugly for the homies. You can take that out in whatever neighborhood walks you're going on right now to stay sane and just let people kind of be curious about you. And yeah, if you want to leave us a review on iTunes, that always helps the show. We appreciate it. Thank y'all for listening. We'll see you next week.
It's raining motherfuckers.